suit? He was looking for something.
I found him, Dad. I found the man who killed Mom. The man in yellow, the one in the lightning. He's taken enough from us already.
I'm Diana McCullough.
And I'm Andrew Ivany.
This is episode 9 of Fan vs. Fan for The Flash.
So in tonight's episode of The Flash, we see Caitlin trying to track down Ronnie, only to find Firestorm. We have Reverse Flash making another appearance. And spoiler alert, we find out who Reverse Flash is. Also, Barry confesses his love for Iris. And just general, Christmas is a thing.
Merry Christmas.
Pros of tonight's episode. What did you like? What did you love?
Alright, so, spoiler, we find out Reverse Flash is Harrison Wells. And I like how they introduced so many elements of who it could be that no matter who it ended up being, we didn't feel cheated. Like, there were hints that it was Wells, but there's also some hints it was Eddie. There's some hints, even for a bit I thought it might have been his dad for like half a second. I was like, what if his dad's Reverse Flash?
But he's the best dad, no!
No, like, that's the trick.
Okay.
But I mean, Wells has the trick of making people think he can't walk. Everyone's got this trick to how they could be Reverse Flash. Like, I didn't feel cheated anyway when we find out that it's Harrison Wells.
I don't feel cheated at the moment, but I think I could down the road, depending on how this all plays out. I see what you're saying, that they haven't really set up anyone for certain to be Reverse Flash, and that was really clever of them to do so. But in retrospect, as this story progresses, I might look back and then just kind of realize, oh, I don't even think they even knew who Reverse Flash was, and it doesn't seem that intelligent
come on,
anymore.
they knew who Reverse Flash was this whole time. There's been hints. I mean, they even cast Tom Cavanaugh, who like has the build of a Flash.
But now, and I've been calling Dr. Wells the whole time, but now that I know that he is Reverse Flash, looking back on previous episodes, I don't think I'm having my mind blown or seeing anything new that I should have.
Really,
in
the
previous
future
episodes.
room? The future room wasn't like, hey, maybe this guy's Reverse Flash.
I'm not saying that it was obvious he wasn't. I'm just saying it wasn't obvious that he was. It could have been a mislead. What I'm saying is I'm not finding anything new. When there's a big character reveal, I want to look back to old episodes and find something that I missed.
I don't know, but like, we all suspected. Like, we've been looking at hints this whole time. Like, I called Harrison Wells as, I think in the Blackout episode, I thought it might have been him from the future was the current for Reverse Flash. And Wells right now is just Wells. In the future, he's going to become Reverse Flash and he can time travel.
Okay, yeah, this does get complicated, all
Very
right? Because we have
complicated.
Dr. Wells who becomes Reverse Flash from the future to potentially time travel. There might be two of them in this time stream.
I think there's two of them. I think he just beat himself up in this episode.
Time travel is complicated.
But when you do it right, it's a pro, but I think you shouldn't be able to touch yourself because it's a paradox. I still liked it. It was fun. It's my pro. What'd you like?
One thing that I really enjoyed about this episode was the subtlety of the Firestorm storyline, in all honesty. I thought it was done a little bit soft. It wasn't the focus of this episode, and I liked that the focus of this episode maintained on Reverse Flash, but that the C storyline was Caitlin tracking him down and figuring out that he is Firestorm, and it set us up now for a larger reveal in a bigger episode with the entire Starlab crew in the future. I like that they planted the seed. I like that it got the C storyline. It didn't get a lot of screen time, but I'm actually happy about that. I enjoyed the subtlety of it. It was a soft reveal, allowing us to have a strong episode down the road.
I'm going to have to completely disagree. Not because I don't like Firestorm, but just when you have an episode where we're revealing who Reverse Flash is, and it's our first real look of Reverse Flash, even if the Firestorm sideline is like, great, I just don't care. I just want scenes about Reverse Flash. I want to know, like every scene Caitlin had with Cisco and then just finding Ronnie, every single scene, I was like, this could be the best scene ever, but I want to know who Reverse Flash is. Just get there.
Another pro that we both have, we have as many pros for this one as this show has great dads, is those two great dads.
He's got two great dads. And before we had found out Harrison Wells with Reverse Flash, I almost would have said 3, because Wells is actually kind of a good dad figure
Right,
too
Wells
sometimes.
is a father figure at times.
But man, Barry's two dads. I just want a show about them raising Barry together.
Joe and Mr. Allen are fantastic. The scene in the prison...
Nice that you called him Mr. Allen.
Yeah, I do, because he's a great dad, and you call great dads Mister. It's just a fact that everyone knows. The scene in the prison was a beautiful moment between father and son.
And Grant Gustin killed it, and also John Wesley Shipp. Both of them just...
Yeah.
Like, they were crying, but it wasn't overly dramatic. It was just like, great son and a great dad, and you just...
Yeah.
Just wanted
It was
that.
the right amount of emotion. It was the right amount of emotion to convey to sell that scene without crossing that line into just crying for the sake of performance.
Yeah.
Like it was played perfectly. I really loved their back and forth, and it's just refreshing to see that kind of fatherly relationship. And then Joe as well. Joe also being the best dad.
They're both the best dad. Like it's hard to buy for Christmas because you're like, who do I give the best dad mug to? I bet they won't let me give this to him in prison because porcelain and.
I also think legally they do not allow you to buy 2 number 1 dad cups at the same time. You can't do that. So keeping previous weeks rolling, I think we might just as well turn the con section into problems we had with Iris this week.
It actually wasn't even so much just Iris. It was just weird scenes she had. Like, Caitlin came to Iris to talk about her blog where she mentioned a man on fire. And I'm like, so Iris just has a metahuman blog now that didn't even involve the Flash? I don't
Blog
understand.
is all over the place.
I don't understand what Iris is doing with her daily life now. Just like, my blog's for anything.
Right, and I think one thing for me that was a con about the episode that could be turned into a pro down the road is I didn't really care for Barry confessing his love to her. I thought that was a really weak moment, and I really wanted it to end with her just going gross because, as we've discussed, they are brother and sister character for the most part.
I actually don't mind him telling her because they actually had that nice scene with his dad first, which explains why he changes his mind and finally tells her he doesn't want to be standing still anymore.
Right.
And I actually really liked that Iris's response was to look grossed out. She cried a little
She did look a little grossed out.
Yeah. Her exact body posture was just like really like, ew, you're my brother, which is how you should respond. Because this isn't just people that were friends. Like, you're raised in the same house since you were 9 by a dad. Like, they're sharing a dad. Your brother and sister.
That's what brother and sisters do.
Brother and sister.
One thing that I didn't like was how Firestorm came in at the end of that fight sequence. Because the fighting was so good in this episode, and I really liked how subtly they played the Firestorm storyline, but I don't like how quickly he was in and out of that fight sequence. It felt like a cheap ending to a Flash, Reverse Flash fight.
Your pro was that he was in it, and your con is that he was in it.
My con is not that he was in it. Mm-hmm. My pro is the Firestorm storyline. My con is that it interrupted the great Flash Reverse Flash battle because the fight choreography of those sequences were brilliant. You got to admit that.
They looked great.
Phenomenal.
I have to also give Reverse Flash credit for being able to set up the screens in the auditorium to have lightning bolts on them. That was a nice touch. I don't know when he plugged them in.
He had some preparation, and you know what? He's a way better fighter than Barry. But the choreography of it was just brilliant. And then the Firestorm storyline I like, but then he shows up and he is just very powerful. They've added flight, which is incredible. I wasn't expecting. Well, I knew that he was going to be able to fly. I didn't think that they were going to hit it that quickly and that abruptly for them to build up that storyline and then be like, and then flying the hell out of here. And then letting Reverse Flash go and flying out of there. It just felt like a cheap, quick end to what could have been a greater battle.
So the big one this episode, we had Christine McGee was in this episode. So she's a comic book character from the Wally West era. She works at Star Labs. But she's also in the 90s TV series of The Flash. And fun fact, she's actually being played by the same actress in this episode as in the 90s show. So just holding on to that role.
That's fantastic. I think a lot of Flash actors are doing that, which brings us to the big Flash news this week. I don't know if you've all heard this one, but Mark Hamill is going to be reprising his role as Trickster, which he also played in the original Flash series, and he was also the voice of in the Justice League animated series. He was the voice of Trickster. He will not give up this role.
He won't give up any role. He's like, I'm Joker, I'm Luke
Skywalker,
I'm a Trickster.
Yeah, and he'll be them until he dies.
Oh.
That will be a sad day.
So we find out Reverse Flash is Harrison Wells, which is not in the comics. But we'll let it go. But we get to see Reverse Flash's suit.
Yes.
And we see him charged up with that tachyon matrix.
Yes.
And this makes a lot of sense because in the comics, Reverse Flash actually doesn't have inherent speed abilities. It all comes from the suit.
Okay.
So I like seeing him charge up the suit. I like this little nod. That's a fun little fact. I know a couple people were confused about what was going on with the tachyon matrix in the suit.
Well, I was very confused because I didn't know what tachyon matrix was.
There's that.
And then I was like, suit stuff.
I don't know what any of the science is, but I know what happens in comic books.
I'm very confused, but he attached a thing to another thing, and then it glowed, so I was like, power.
Great. Another great thing we saw Wells use, this was the first reveal of a Flash ring.
Oh,
It was
yes,
on
that was
Wells
exciting.
instead of Barry. So flash rings are where all the Flashes keep their suits. They fold them down into tiny little things and put them in the suits, and they expand when air touches them, and they put them on, and it's adorable, and I can't wait to see someone get dressed that way. This has been episode 9 of Fan vs. Fan. If you want to comment with us next time, you can follow us at Dorkshelf right here.
And be sure to subscribe right here.
And we'll be back in 2015 for more episodes. I'm Diana McCullum.
I'm Andrew Ogden.
Thanks for watching.
Kicked him out.